opportunity for Charlotte off the set piece. It is going to be the man out of Poland. The shot, yes!
And it's gone in. It's an Olympico. Yoshiki pulls it back. The shot and another goal.
And look who's coming on. Ryan Romero. Here's Romero. Hit the shot, kid.
Goal!
For the city, for the crown.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Offsides Podcast, the official podcast of Charlotte Football Club. I am your host, as always, Andres Robledo, and I'm joined by my co-host, Pablo Robledo, Charlotte FC's number one fan. Let me hear you from you, Pablo.
Number one.
How you feeling after back-to-back victories?
Dude, back to back, just like Drake said it.
We're going back to back.
He didn't say it that slow.
It's been a pretty drama-filled week for Charlotte FC. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of juicy rumors out in the streets. I've got my ear to the Twitter ground, and I'm soaking up all the rumors. So let's just jump right into it. So pretty busy week for Charlotte FC. The transfer window just closed on Monday. They tried to get a little bit of business done that day with a trade to Real Salt Lake with Andre Shinyashiki in exchange for winger Justin Moram. Justin is a 34-year-old winger, has been in the league a long time. Andre Shinyashiki's pretty young, I think 24. Not really a winger, even though we've been playing him as one more of like a center forward. But, I mean, what do you think of a trade like that? You think we need to bring in an older guy to get some more experience, or do you think it's a bad deal? It ended up falling apart, but kind of what was your reaction to that news?
I saw most of it. Well, the only news I heard on it was from the Charlotte FC memes page. And I was just like, okay, so it might be some trading going on. But 34 years old in MLS is kind of like, I don't want to say old, but ancient almost. I mean, yeah. How old is Awful? He's getting ready to retire.
37.
Yeah.
And don't forget they just renewed Andre's contract at the end of last season too.
Yeah.
It hasn't even been a full year.
Yeah. Well, first of all, way to procrastinate there, Charlotte. Just like wait until the last day to try to do something.
That's our style.
It's just like we just like to wait.
That resonates with me deeply.
Yeah. Well, I think just Charlotte in general.
Yeah.
But no, I think that would have kind of been a bum deal for us. I mean, just age-wise, and do we really need another winger when I think what we're lacking for is defensive backs and center defensive mids?
Yeah. I think it does go to show that he's pretty much fallen out of favor with
right.
Latanzio in the front office.
Unfortunately.
Him and Nuno Santos both seem to be in that boat right now. I've heard a lot of rumors about it. As you saw, they weren't part of Saturday's team, not even on the bench. And surprisingly, same for last night on the Open Cup match. They weren't even on the bench as well. They brought up a couple of Crown Legacy guys instead. And some of the Shinyashiki rumors I've heard are hilarious. The first one being that he is a bit of a Tinder demon. He is swiping often in the Charlotte scene. And he's a bit of a party animal from what I've heard. Allegedly, none of this is libel or slander. Do not sue us.
Sounds like a bro.
Yeah. I mean, what do you expect, right? He's a young 20-something-year-old, handsome, rich Brazilian guy.
Yeah.
They like to party. They like to surf. The nightlife in Rio is crazy.
What else does Charlotte have to offer?
Yeah,
you can only go to the NASCAR Hall of Fame so many times.
So I can see why he's interested in that, and why Latanzio has something against it. Probably wants him to be a bit more professional. The other rumors that I've heard, and again, this is all alleged, and anything else that will not get us sued, is Nuno Santos, I guess after the Salt Lake game where he missed a couple of easy goals, was asked to play for the Crown Legacy team. And from what I've heard, again, this is all stuff online, he just flat out said no, like, I'm not doing that. And I guess since then he's been dropped from the first team and is supposedly training with Crown Legacy, but not playing. Is not playing for the first team right now. And again, not on the Open Cup roster. And that was like another thing. Again, I think another rumor I heard was that Shinshinski was like alongside him with that. He was, like, if you can't make him play there, I'm not playing if you're making him play there, that kind of thing. So I don't know, but just crazy locker room drama for those two guys.
Yeah, that's especially for Santos. That's got to be a tough pill to swallow coming from overseas soccer. Then I don't want to say it's a step down and like playing in MLS, but MLS still has that bit of a, not up to par type of feel. And then not only you don't get to play MLS, you have to play like a division lower. That's real humbling there. But
and I think also, undeserved. I don't think he's played poorly.
No,
to where he needs to be playing there.
Agreed. I think both him and Shinshinski are just in bad form. Look, if you're Latanzio, you don't want Shinshinski going out and partying. Like, dude, he's a young 20-something-year-old male. Like, he's got this pent-up energy. Put him in the games. Get him tired. Like, if you want him to stay home.
Make that boy run.
Yeah, keep that boy running.
You ever heard of 2-a-days? Bump it up to 3-a-days.
Swiping on the bench and stuff. Like, checking out the stands. Nah.
He's on that Ally fan cam zooming in everywhere.
Yeah, he's the one controlling the camera at the World Cup.
Yeah.
He just finds all the hotties.
Oh, man. I just saw that online. Who knows if that's even true, but those were what some people were saying, and I was like, that is hilarious. I wish they would just say that in a press conference. Like, what's the issue with Andre? Like, he's on Tinder way too much, man. It's ridiculous. Benching his ass.
I heard he's swiped on Latanzio's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Not wife. He has side piece.
Nah, this is all alleged. Definitely not libel or slander. Do not.
I heard
sue
that
us.
from Top End 90.
Yeah, sue them. We don't have any money. Barking up the wrong tree. So yeah, the Santos thing though for me does kind of show me that Latanzio tends to overcorrect on both sides of it. Like we were talking before, like as soon as a guy like scores a goal, like Bender, right? He scores a nice goal, and then he's like starting and getting more playing time, which is like good. That's what you want to see. You want to see that reward, but at the same time, like, okay, Santos misses an easy sitter, but like at least he created that opportunity. Like he pressured that mistake.
Yeah.
But gets like overly punished to like, okay, you're playing for Crown Legacy. I don't know if that's like the exact situation. Maybe it's something else. Like maybe during practice he's, throwing tantrums or whatever. I don't know, but it does kind of seem like a weird thing for the Santos situation if that is all it is. Because I think he's totally in his right to be like, no, I'm not playing there. Like I came here to play for the first team. I don't know.
No, yeah, I understand. It's but we saw the different side of it too, like we saw Bender and Westwood also play for Crown, and not only Westwood but also Mello.
Yeah.
Those guys played for Crown when they weren't up to par with Charlotte, and then Bender he's got what, like at least 2 assists and a goal so far. Melo's he's done pretty good. But yeah, I think he just might be in his head a little bit, but it is kind of like a punishment almost. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I feel like this is something he should be able to work out with Santos, especially with how talented Santos is. Like, and then it's a position where we could use help in, like, swapping him out for Bronico just to help the offense a little bit more, because he's always good at just driving the ball forward.
If anything, maybe Fuchs ought to just give him a talk to. Like, didn't Fuchs play for Independence for a while when he came over?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Premier League Cup winner.
Yeah, I think it's a little different just because COVID delayed Charlotte FC by a year, and Fuchs had already like signed for Charlotte and was supposed to start playing. So it was like, okay, well, you can play for Independence until a couple of the guys did that. Bronico did that. Adam Armour did that. But it was, I think, mostly like a timing thing.
But still, I mean,
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
just talk
I
to
agree.
the boy.
Yeah, work it out, man. Come on, you're punishing all my guys.
Yeah.
Mostly just Santos is my guy.
Yeah,
And then
that's your
Derek
boy.
Jones.
I think you picked a dud. I mean, he's created some opportunities. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
he's
feel like
played well
he's-
when he has played.
Yeah, I feel like he deserves to be on the field, starting. But he's not getting that chance, so it just sucks.
Yeah, I would just hate to see him go to like Atlanta or something and then just bite us in the butt.
Oh yeah, I could see that happening.
Just like scores a hat trick
sooner
like,
rather than later, actually.
Yeah. The other bit of breaking news today actually was that Adam Armour has been waived. This is kind of like a crazy one to me. Apparently, for those that were in the know, like Top Bin 90 and some other media members, this was apparently like in the works. Apparently, there was a trade deal with Atlanta where I guess we were going to get some money and they were going to get him. But I just thought this one was a real odd deal. He is an athletic left back, scored the first goal for the team, was pretty involved in the first team up until he tore his ACL. And again, that was all under Mar. So obviously Latanzio views his outside defenders a bit differently. And that's kind of what I've heard online was the reason behind the deal, was that he just didn't fit into what the coach wanted as a left back. But to me, that's kind of odd because he's so young. You could have molded him into that, like have him play under awful Lindsay and Byrne and just learn like how to play in the system. And at the same time, like you only have Mora really as your actual left back. All the other guys are more traditional right backs.
Right. And they don't play as good.
Yeah. And so Armour could have been, the one bit of depth that we had at the position, and now you're waiving him and not even getting anything in return. Seems a bit odd, but especially, again, for such a young player with what looked like a lot of potential, and I'm sure he will, I'm sure he'll land somewhere on his feet and probably make us pay for that later on in the year or later on in the league, a couple years down the road. But what would you think of that breaking news?
I listen, with the situation we got now with left backs, it doesn't make sense to me from the outside looking in to get rid of somebody that can potentially fill that slot. I know we have defenders, but like you said, they don't traditionally play that position, and when they do, they don't play it as well. Moore is a good fit for it. Awful's a good fit for it, but that's really about it. Corujo is out on injury, and then Armour. We have some history with Armour. Like you said, he scored our first goal. He's been part of the initial squad. He's a young guy. Like you said, he could be molded into playing that position better. And with the lack of options that Charlotte has right now, I don't see why you wouldn't just like give him a 1-year extension just until we get things figured out, or maybe he ends up working out. But I'm not in that table in those meetings, so I can't really say for sure. But I think we should have kept him at least for another year, just because like our defensive line. We'll cover this later on as we talk on the games, but our defensive line is just struggling, and getting rid of that type of player I don't think is going to hurt, especially if you're not bringing on other players either. The transfer window is closed, so we're one less player, and we got a couple injured.
Yeah, seems a bit weird. Even just letting them play the season out for Crown Legacy, like, from what I understood, I haven't kept up as much as I would have liked with Crown Legacy. They're doing very well, but I thought he was playing pretty well for them. So even that's just a bit odd.
Yeah.
To kind of just take away from that, but yeah, weird. And as you mentioned, we didn't bring any new players in. There was some rumors around us bringing in Jack Byrne from, I believe, the Scottish League.
Oh, right. Yep. Another burn.
Yeah, another Byrne. He's listed as like a right winger on FIFA. But from the highlights I watched, he seemed more like a center attacking mid, and one who liked to shoot from outside the box, could dribble forward. Looks like a very good player. But the deal broke down. His club rejected our bid, and we did not go back with another one. But I think his contract is set to expire at the end of this summer, maybe. And he's worked with Latanzio before at Man City when Latanzio's helping coach the youth there. So maybe one to keep an eye out for in the future. Maybe we'll see him make his way over eventually. But that was a bit disappointing to not see him make the jump over. Because from his highlights, and again, it's hard to tell everything from highlights because they are highlights, but he looked like an exciting guy to have. And he was doing well in the team he's on now. I think he's played 10 matches and has like 4 assists and 2 goals, something like that. So pretty good production.
Yeah, well, we've been burned by highlights before.
And it's starting to come around. We'll definitely get to that in the next subject. But yeah, anything else you want to add or anything like that? Anything you've heard?
No, I haven't really heard anything else. I did see when I was watching the game last night on the Open Cup, there was a ticker down at the bottom of the screen, and it looks like the MLS commissioner, it just kept saying it over and over again, but it just kept saying he's working very hard to work a deal to bring Messi over. So I still don't know if they're just like throwing that out there just to see who'll bite, but looks like it's and it looks like it's still for Miami, which makes sense. And I think also and I never looked it up. I meant to, but is Miami's coach Neville?
Yeah, Phil Neville.
Oh, dude, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, if you got the money, sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're backed by Beckham, and they're having Beckham go way back.
True.
So nepotism gets you the job, but no, I mean, he seems to be doing well.
I think he's about to be out of a job.
Well, like I said. Anyways, let's jump into the meat and potatoes of the episode. Charlotte FC played at home again this past weekend against Columbus Crew, who were on fire at the time, 4th in the East, scoring goals left and right, defending pretty well, and just kind of imposing their will on teams. And playing a pretty similar style to Charlotte, possession-based, aggressive. Although I don't know if you can say we play aggressive, but kind of a similar system. And I think this was, from everywhere I saw, a lot of people were expecting us to lose this game, including, I'll be flat out honest, including myself.
Not me.
Just, yeah, I do have to give you props.
Run the tapes back.
I deleted that episode. You can't prove it. But yeah, a lot of people were not expecting a good performance. They thought we were going to get overpowered by Columbus. But man, it didn't turn out that way. We snuck a nice little 1-0 victory over them. Played pretty well. What'd you think of the match? I know you recently just watched it. Give me your kind of overview of it.
Yeah, I watched it on the Apple app. I still have a hard time navigating that thing, but I think it's just my age, maybe. I really don't know what I was doing. But anyways,
it's not intuitive.
It's like there's so many choices. But what was I gonna? Oh, I thought we did fairly well. As far as like being entertained, and I think it was okay. Probably like most of the action took place in the first half, especially being at a 1-0 game. Lineup, I thought the lineup was pretty good. I'm not too sure still, and I guess we can just go ahead and dive right into this. I'm still not too sure about the formation and then Capetti's performance.
I thought if we want to jump onto the Copetti topic first, I actually thought this was one of his better performances recently. Obviously, he didn't get on the score sheet,
Right.
but he could have had a couple assists if certain players would have shot the ball. And, made it.
There were some wide open plays that he missed for sure, especially in the first half. I thought Swiderski being one of them on the right side before that first goal came, and I think he looked to Vargas instead. But you mentioned last week that his first touch is not that great, and I started paying attention more to that, and you're right, especially like when he just kind of waits for the ball. Man, the thing just bounced right off. It just bounces right off his boot, like a brick wall. I don't think he's created enough space between him and the defender still. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what type of how he likes to chase balls is what it looks like.
Yeah, he very much is the type of player who wants to.
And that's pretty much how he scored. Yeah, and that's how he scored yesterday, on the Open Cup game against Tormenta. It's just a run on ball. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think he's just playing out of form. But I'm not sure what needs to change so we can get him the type of plays that he likes or that he's more productive out of. Yeah, I thought Marks did an excellent job too, saving our butts.
We should definitely talk about that because after the Colorado game, I'm not getting that confused. That was Colorado, right? That we just played before at home. Where we tied 1-1 or 2-2. There was a lot of talk online about, sending him back to the bench.
No.
Kalina can't come soon enough, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people, are looking at Kalina with some, rosy sunglasses and full of nostalgia of this, top tier goalkeeper. And I remember talking about it at the end of the last season of being like, listen, as many good saves as he has made, he's also made a lot of mistakes and costed us points. And I remember talking about this at the end of last season of being like, I don't know if I want to take him or Pablo at this time because Pablo was playing pretty well towards the end when he was getting chances. And that's why I wasn't surprised that he started while Kalina was injured. But now Marks is looking head and shoulders to me above all of them.
Yeah.
People want to forget about the mistakes Kalina made.
He had two huge ones last season.
Well, he had the one against Columbus at home where he got chipped in from the halfway line.
Yep.
That was huge. And then wasn't the DC United game, he kicked it off the back of McCoon for an own goal? And I think
so he had three big ones because I have another one that I'll call. So the one where a guy shot it outside the box and it was he was way off the line and it went over him.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the Philadelphia game he accidentally passed it to one of the Philly players and they were able to make it 3-0 or 2-0 or something like that. And then you're right, he did kick that one ball and I want to say it went off of either McCoon or
it might have been Fuchs.
Or no, not Fuchs, but Corujo.
Okay, yeah.
Because I know we were kind of harsh on Corujo. One of those. I know McCoon, we rode him pretty hard until he got traded out. But either way, Kalina, he made plenty of mistakes and he let plenty of those inside post goals in, those close post ones.
And that was
that
what
Mark saves all the time.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to bring up too. Is not necessarily mistakes, but he gets beat at the near post quite a bit.
Yes, thank you.
And Marks has been very good at that.
And his reaction is just cat-like.
Yeah, to me, he is a more athletic shot stopper. Yeah, more acrobatic, and he is clearly gaining confidence and experience. This game compared to last game, he was coming out of his box more confidently, punching stuff away, catching stuff.
Yep.
And when Marks first started getting minutes, the one thing I was kind of saying was like his distribution's definitely not as good as Kalina. This game, I thought it was just as good, if not better.
Absolutely.
He was finding Competti on some long balls. He was finding Camille on some long balls. Like, he is starting to get that part of it down.
Yeah.
So to me, I think he is like the goalkeeper going forward, for sure. I don't like
Agreed.
until he totally f's up. I don't see how Kalina finds his way back in.
No, I agree. I used it. Looking at him, he just looked shorter, less athletic than just Kalina and Pablo, but performance-wise and how he's done just game after game, he's the clear number one for the goalkeeper. And then if you going back to last night's game against Tormenta where Kalina got scored on. Now Kalina made a dive in. He made a dive attempt. And Tormenta didn't really put too many shots on goal where like to test Kalina. But I feel like Marks would have stopped that one shot. I feel like he would have had that area of his net covered better. But still, it's you'll never know. I say we keep Kalina on the bench for a while until Marks just kind of progressively doesn't perform. Like if he has back to back bad games or mistakes, then yeah. But right now, like
it's
let him
his
ride the
position
high.
to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think another guy we should talk about is one who we've been pretty hard on, definitely since the beginning of the season, and probably a good bit towards the end of last season. But we got to give props where props are due.
MVP.
Yazwiak.
Yeah.
He's been playing pretty well. I thought the game against Columbus, I thought he did very well of like dribbling the ball forward, finding passes. He set up the goal again for Swiderski. But like he was doing a lot, like coming back on defending and just like driving the ball forward with his dribbling. He has definitely turned things around so far. Hopefully it keeps going. He had a good game last night as well before he came off with an injury. Hopefully nothing too serious. But I think he's probably been, especially the last 3 or 4 games, top 3 player for the team. Probably top 2.
He's leading the team right now with assists. So.
Yeah.
He's got a goal. I don't think he got a. Oh yeah, and he got a goal last night.
Yeah, I got a goal last night. He almost had 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That long distance, he still needs to, take the wind into the, or at least gravity into the factor.
Yeah.
that one was a little bit over.
Little physics on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's definitely turning things around.
Those are, and not only that, but like it's Yazwiak and Swiderski are turning out to be quite a good little duo there. The little Polish pistols are
starting to fire.
Yeah.
We finally got some real bullets in them instead of the blanks.
Pew, pew, pew.
Shooting live rounds. Bang, bang. Welcome to the South.
Yeah.
But no, it's exciting to finally, he's living up to that DP contract and responding well to all the criticism.
Yeah, and good on him for, just trucking on through.
Yeah.
Because I know I know he was listening to specifically us, and we were rough.
There was, I don't know if I told you the story. There was one time when I was working in Uptown. I thought he was in front of me at a sandwich shop, and I got nervous. I was like, he is gonna flame me.
He looks like he would eat sandwiches.
Who doesn't? You eat sandwiches.
No, I love sandwiches.
And then Swiderski looks like he's getting back on some form, scoring again. I think that's back-to-back games, right? I think he scored against Colorado, and then he scored last night. So that's 3 in a row. What do you make of that? I mean, we talked about Copetti not being in form. I think that has a lot to do with like the system we're playing and Copetti not really fitting into that system in terms of like production.
Right.
But is it now starting to favor Swiderski in production, or is it maybe time to move him up and maybe sit Copetti for a little bit? I mean, what do you make of the Swiderski situation? Maybe you don't change something if it's working.
No, what I was gonna say is, and you just kind of barely hint on it, is looking at this Columbus game and how Capetti played. He didn't play poorly because he was distributing the ball, creating chances for others.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's playing at the top, he just gets stuck on that last defender, and when he gets the ball, it just bounces off of him weird, and all he can do is just pass it off because he's not getting those through balls that he likes. But what I'm trying to get to is he is a good distributor of the ball, where I think he needs to play behind Soderski and put Soderski at the top. I feel like Soderski is more of a natural guy where he can hold up the ball up there better and then give Capetti that through pass that he's looking for instead of Capetti getting that ball at the last line and holding it up. Because he doesn't seem like he can do that as well. So yeah. I would say just put Soderski at the top and Capetti behind him. Try that for a couple games, see how it fits.
That'd be interesting. Yeah. I don't know how much he would like that.
Well, yeah, that's going to be the problem, right? Because
yeah,
he's been hyped up so much, and the whole play system has been developed around him. But who's been scoring lately?
Yeah,
not him.
But yeah, again, I do wonder if that's because Swiderski is kind of playing a little bit further back than him and is kind of getting those running in goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially the one against Columbus. All he had to do was side foot it in. Not that that's an easy goal. Obviously placed it very well.
I
but
mean, that was a very well placed one touch.
Yeah.
Hit there, but I think if you put Capetti in that same spot, he does the same thing, but it's just all in the formation on where Capetti's being placed at. So I don't think it would hurt, honestly, with those two guys just barely switching positions. I don't think it would hurt at all.
Yeah, I do think that this past game was probably the best that the Swiderski-Capetti connection has looked. Like you said, Capetti found him a couple times. They were definitely setting up some plays, some 1-2s. They were starting to move the ball around quite nicely together as well.
Right. Yeah.
We talked about before, it seemed like they were kind of competing for the same thing. But now they're starting to build some chemistry, starting to gel.
Yep. Yeah. And if you go back and look at Swiderski goal, you got Yazviak running out wide, and he's looking for, I want to say initially Capetti, but he's already covered by two guys.
Yeah, that is the thing that a lot of people are maybe not factoring into Capetti's performance is he is usually double teamed.
Right.
He's definitely the guy that a lot of teams are focusing on, especially center backs. They are not wanting to give him an inch of space, and they're pretty much always double teaming him.
Yeah, and when he plays so far up, which I that's his position and that's what he's supposed to do. But when you're the tip of the spear of the going into the attack, of course you're gonna have the defenders on you. Where if you drop him back slightly, now they're covering the other striker.
Yeah,
and it just leaves him. I see him as more of a potential number 10 instead of that number 9.
Interesting.
I said try it. I mean,
run it on FIFA, see what happens.
At this point in the season and where we're at on the tables, you could only just go down.
No, we could go up. What are you talking about?
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it could work.
There's almost only room to go up.
Yeah. I don't know. I was thinking, of course, we're gonna win every game.
The one thing I will say is I don't think Lattanzio will try it just because he has gotten so much heat from experimenting. The Bronico at left back, the playing Mackenzie Gaines is an experiment in and of itself.
Well, with the options that we have on left back, anybody you put back there is going to be an experiment. There's only 2 guys to choose from, and one
I
of
think
them's
Mora's
out for
looked the
3
best,
weeks.
and now that is unfortunate. But Mora doesn't get enough appreciation. Unfortunately.
Yeah. But
anything else to add about this game? I mean, I thought
I saw that one good header by Tulioma, which I liked.
we finally looked dangerous on a set piece.
Once.
Yeah.
Once. We looked dangerous once. There are other ones, the corners and all that, even on last night's game against Tormenta, just ineffective. Completely just
We're not good.
low
at set
balls
pieces.
or just nobody's getting to it. I thought maybe yesterday we were going to score off of a set piece or a corner, but no.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So lots of room for improvement there.
Yeah. We'll say I thought the first half was pretty back and forth and even. Obviously, we got the one goal. But the second half was very much like Columbus was putting it on us. And for me, it was hard to tell if like Latanzio was telling the team to sit back and kind of park the bus again, which I was a bit worried about. And almost bit us in the butt again if it wasn't for VAR.
Yeah, especially in those last 10 minutes. I mean, even before that one goal, I think around the 80th minute, I want to say number 20 for Columbus.
Was causing some problems.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he like out-dribbled two guys and Marks just barely got a hand on that.
Yeah.
And then again around like the 82nd minute. But, I mean, not to say that we weren't attacking either. There was a lot of action between the 80th minute and the 90th minute.
Yeah, we had a couple chances.
I think Bender had a shot.
It's like a petty set Bender up again.
Yeah.
The Bender for Swiderski sub looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm liking that. He is coming in and doing a pretty good job of like either getting in the right spot or finding a player. Like it definitely doesn't feel like we're like downgrading or anything, when Bender comes on. It still feels like, okay, well, he could pop up and score or like or get an assist. So it's like,
but again,
an attacking threat.
It's a substitution that, unless Swiderski is like asking to be subbed, which I don't see him like waving on, or at least from the cameras, it doesn't make sense to me. Swiderski's out there producing.
I would have rather seen Bronico come off, and it's nothing against him. It's just
nothing
like,
against Bronico. It's just like who's producing. Stay on.
Yep, totally agree. And that way you have another goal because he's not, Bronico's not really a goal scoring threat, but Bender could be, and then you keep Swiderski on his goal, so you can kind of fight for that second goal and increase your lead a little bit. But yeah, the second half was very much the Columbus show. I mean, I think they had like almost 70% possession while we just kind of held on. And I mean, I really do hope Latanzio kind of. And again, it was hard to tell if it was just Columbus like holding the ball really well from the beginning of the second half up until the 80th minute. I think after the 80th minute, it was kind of like, okay, yeah, the team is kind of sitting back and protecting the lead. And it again, like if it wasn't for VAR and that guy being offsides, it looked like it could have been a pretty costly mistake to not try to get the second one. But we did have some good opportunities to get the second one. So
bit
more forgiving on that.
Looking at first of all, MLS gives you 5 subs, right?
Yep.
Why aren't we using all 5 subs? That I don't understand. We're still only using 3 subs. But, one sub that makes sense is, Vargas for Gaines. Vargas wasn't as productive as he has been in previous games. So, yeah, bring him in and put Gaines out there. Lindsay for Yazviak. That's kind of like, and that was around the 87th minute.
Okay, we're definitely parking the bus, yeah.
Those two make sense. But just going back
time.
to, but Bender for Swiderski just doesn't make sense at all. You take out anybody else but those guys.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that you want to get Bender on, but it doesn't make sense to take Swiderski off. Totally agree with that. I was on the Mackenzie Gaines train beginning of the season, but he looks like he's just lost all progression. Like towards the end of the season, he was looking good, and it was like, okay, he's starting to figure out like the final ball and like maybe can become productive, but I'm kind of over him, dude. Like,
well, he was playing on that left side too, which is not really his side, is it? He's more comfortable on the right side.
He's looked garbage on both sides.
Put him
Dude,
in the
he's looked
goalkeeper.
bad. Like, he's just fast. But he just always makes the wrong choice. I mean, it's still like what we were talking about.
You
the
were
Osbeck
all
beginning
for
of the
his
season.
speed at the beginning of the season. I told you
Because I
that.
thought
said,
he was going to be able to pass the
no.
ball like towards the end of the season last year. He was
I
starting
said
to like find
he's got one move.
players.
No, I said he's a one-move player. All he can do is run down the side and cross the ball in, and you were all for it. Now look at you.
But now he sucks at crossing. It's like he got worse.
Well,
I don't
mean,
understand.
it's like riding on a bicycle, right?
No, you get better as you ride more. He's getting worse. It doesn't make any sense.
Put me on a bicycle right now, I'm gonna fall. So I have not ridden in a while.
I don't think you know what riding a bike means.
I don't think you know the metaphor,
I don't think you know the metaphor.
but either way, it's like
But
I think he needs more minutes to get back on form.
no, I think you should just play Mello or Cambridge. Those guys
Oh,
look
yeah.
way better.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, it doesn't make sense to play him when you've got two guys with way more potential on the bench, that look like more overall better players.
I was hoping to see Melo. I saw Cambridge in last night's games, and he looked good. I was hoping to see Melo in that game, but I saw Gaines. But Gaines looked good in that game. I mean, I get we're playing Tormenta,
Yeah,
division
I was
team.
gonna say.
I get that. Like we all get that. But in comparison to how we played, who was it that we played last year? Like Wilmington or something?
Greenville Triumph.
Yeah, I don't know who's in Wilmington, but that was just disastrous.
But that was also like the second team compared to like last night he played starters for pretty much.
Yeah. Well,
He played like all starters.
Yeah.
I think he like did not want any midweek criticism. He's like, we are winning this game.
Well, and that's another thing now. Like, do you think that's the plan? Is focus more on the Open Cup?
Hold on. One more guy I did want to shout out for the Columbus game was Tulioma. I know he's been getting a lot of hate, and some of it is rightfully so. Like some of his defending has been atrocious. But if you go back to look at the goal that we scored, it was his long ball to Yazwiak that set up the whole thing. That was a freaking 10 out of 10 pass from Tulioma. Like, just cross the field, like laser beam to find him in that open space. Like, to not overhit it. Like, that takes a lot of skill. So, that is just like he's clearly getting more comfortable under the team and stuff. Like, that is some of the stuff that I think he can bring to this team. So, just wanted to shout that out real quick because he's not gotten any praise for that.
Yeah,
that was my last bit on the
I'm
Columbus
still
game.
50-50 on Tulioma. I don't dislike him, but I haven't been heavily impressed. I thought we were getting
Thought we were getting
a bigger
stud, but,
I thought we were getting a bigger wall than a wooden fence.
Yeah,
It's like a chain linked fence.
There's some holes in it, but
Yeah.
it can get the job done every now and then. You
Sure.
can definitely hop it,
Yeah.
but
Turn the
maybe if we
electricity
add
on.
some barbed wire and stuff.
There you go.
like-
Throw some shanks out there.
Yeah. But that pass was sweet. I mean,
No, yeah,
I love
that's
seeing
nice.
stuff like
And the
that.
header,
so-
he had a real nice header too. I think we
Yeah?
already covered that, but
Yeah.
either way.
Hopefully he's finding some form.
Yeah. Now we'll see what this injury report is after last night's game.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Did you have
it's-
any last thoughts on the Columbus game, and then we can just jump into the Open Cup match?
No, I think overall, we held our own very well against what has been so far a strong team.
Yep.
I get we only scored the one goal, and they had very close chances, but Columbus has been performing very well. So
Yeah. Very
there's-
good step in
there's-
the right direction.
yeah, there's glimpses of what Charlotte can be.
Yeah.
And if we can play this good against these guys, we should, dominate some of the like the DC game coming up. That DC has not been performing as well. I don't think Miami has either. From what I've heard, they've lost like the past 3 games or something like that. Maybe
Who
more.
could say?
Who could care? But hopefully it's not the other way around where we lose those games.
Man,
Hopefully
Miami
we don't.
fans are going to be in your ass if we lose that game.
A lot of Hispanics down there.
Yeah. All right, so take me to the Open Cup game. Like we saw, pretty strong lineup. I think, again, I do think Latanzio's like, we are not playing. This is not going to be a close game. I'm leaving no room for midweek criticism. Am I going to sacrifice 2 starters? Maybe.
Very risky lineup. Very risky.
But I ain't hearing nothing in the media this week. I think he was like, you guys better beat the brakes off them, or we are running all day.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah. He was not playing around with that lineup.
No, yeah. No
some
mercy
interesting
from the Italian.
Yeah. Some interesting guys that did get some time. I thought Jan Zobozinski getting some time was a good sign. He's looked good whenever he has played, but lately has not really been getting involved. He was on the bench for the Columbus game, which was interesting. And like you said, with Tulioma getting hurt, maybe we'll see him slide in because we literally have no one else.
Maybe Latanzio's got a little trick up his sleeve.
Yeah. He's like, well, if having 2 Polish guys on the field gets me a win, imagine what having 3 will do.
That was a big win.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe we'll see him in the starting lineup. But, I mean, were you surprised by this starting lineup and the amount of, amount of starters? I mean, Tulioma and Malanda both playing.
Yeah.
Lindsay's kind of like 50-50.
Right.
Bronico playing. Yazwiak playing. Jones and Copetti, all starting. This seems...
Yeah, so I was surprised a bit on not Tulioma and Malanda, just because I think those were justified. Maybe, yeah, I think Malanda and Tulioma probably could use the time and the minutes. Those two
to try to build better chemistry and understanding.
And just to get in better form, I think.
Okay.
Those two are probably our strongest defenders, and even they're letting stuff through the gaps. And even on this past game, where Tormenta almost scored a couple times, Malanda got caught just basically covering space instead of a player.
Yeah.
Lindsay on that, it looked like he was playing on the left side. Interesting position, and Shabashinsky, I'm good with that. Bronico, I didn't see a need for Bronico in that game. Neither.
Especially when you have Bender and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Weird. Yeah, especially when you have Bender or even Mello or Santos or Shinashinsky, if we're really gonna dive into that. So I think Bronico and Jones could have used the break. Especially Jones after getting that yellow in the last game.
Yeah. Actually, I did want to clear something. I did hear Bender was actually sick yesterday, so that's why he wasn't involved.
Ooh, get that COVID.
Yeah, maybe he's not vaccinated.
Everybody's got that.
That's why he didn't. I don't know if you know that, but that's why he last year didn't get to go up to Canada to play against. I think it was Toronto.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. He's at least again allegedly.
I don't know where they
allegedly in parody, so don't sue us.
Well, everybody knows that stuff's in our food now.
It's in the water.
Yeah, they've been pumping that vaccine in straight into the pipes.
It's in the chicken nuggets at McDonald's.
It makes the Dasani water taste better.
But yeah.
But anyways, Yazwiak, I'm good with that one. Copetti, I mean, again, he has just not been in form. So just getting him some more minutes to get a couple of confidence goals out there. That makes sense. I was okay with the lineup, to be honest with you. I think one thing that did stood out was when I saw it, I'm like, okay, I think he's trying to be a serious contender in this cup.
Yeah, so that was kind of going to be the next thing we talked about, which we talked about a couple weeks ago of what should the team focus on if it can only focus on one thing, especially given the depth of the team. Should it be trying to win the Open Cup or just trying to get to that 9th spot and make playoffs? But I agree with you. I think he Like, it does want. I mean, we'll have to see as the tournament continues, but this is definitely like a big opening statement of like, yeah, we want to win games here. We want to play well, not leave it up to chance, nothing like that. Is that kind of what you were getting at?
Yeah, pretty much. Starting off strong. Now we go into the round of 32. I think now we made it past that round. I think it was in the round of 16th when we got eliminated by the New York Red Bulls.
That might have
last
been
year.
I think didn't we won the first two, so we would have won round of 32 and round of 16. So I think we got to the quarters.
No, I don't think so. It doesn't matter.
So,
I'm not gonna look it up. But either way, I know we won the first two, and then we got eliminated. But
yeah,
I feel like, and I think the commentators might have even mentioned it. It would just be nice to see some silverware in the second season. And I know it's a lot to ask for, but it seems to like I would be happier with a deep Open Cup run than just a MLS playoff.
what would you say
spot.
what would you define as a deep run?
Like semifinals.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah. Anything less than is not good.
So if we miss playoffs, let's say we get 10th in the East, but make it to the semifinals and then lose, are you calling that like a good season, or how are we feeling?
Say that again.
So let's say we get to the semifinals of the Open Cup and lose, but it cost us making the playoffs, right? Let's say we finish 10th in the East, so we're one spot outside of making playoffs. Are you okay with that? Or are you like, okay, it was worth focusing on that?
Yeah,
and
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I just said.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm okay with that. I think with the schedule that Charlotte has this season, not only with the MLS regular schedule, then the Open Cup, but also the tournament that's coming up in, I want to say, June, July.
Yeah, I did forget about that actually.
It's and we don't have the roster.
It's a lot
for
of
it.
games.
It's a lot of games, and we don't have the people for it.
Yeah. Dang. Oof.
I thought it was, he did some smart subs, taking off guys that were maybe injured. Tulioma, one of them, and then Yazviak, the other one. It didn't look like there were hard hits or serious injuries, but he was taking no chances with that. So that's about it.
Yeah. One thing I did want to ask, what did you think of the reffing on this match? There was 2 double yellows shown. I mean, you watched more of it than I did. What did you think? Was he calling it pretty tight, or what was going on with that?
No, I thought the reffing was fair. I thought it was okay. There
Really?
was some of those fouls were pretty hard hitting. And I think that one double yellow, that was for Tormenta, wasn't it?
And then Cambridge got a double yellow
Oh,
also.
okay, yeah.
And both his yellows were on non-contact fouls.
I didn't see Cambridge's.
I didn't think the first one was that good either. Like the Tormenta guy who fouled Hagart to get a second yellow. I thought that was like a pretty weak second yellow. Like he barely touched him.
Well, and that's depends on the ref that you have out there. Is he like strictly enforcing it, or like trying to set the ground rules? I'm like, you're not getting away with anything, or is he like only calling the hard fouls, or maybe he's just calling it very strict.
Yeah, because both of Cambridge's yellows I thought were pretty bad. Like I didn't think they deserved it.
I saw a couple of the Tormenta guys just straight up just diving, trying to get calls.
Yeah, and I didn't get to watch a ton of or pretty much any of the first half. But Jennifer watched it, and she was saying like that. She was like, it looks like some of those Tormenta guys are just out there to hurt Charlotte players, and I was like, yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
Like when you're a lower league team, you're just like, we're just gonna mess them up.
which is unfortunate, but
Yeah, it happens.
I didn't catch. There was definitely some of that. Not to say that our guys went easy on him either. I would also contribute that to frustration just by the score line that was being run up on those guys. I mean, we score in the second half, I want to say, or maybe the first half.
The first half, yeah,
The first half, Gazviak scored.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put 2 more on them, and we're just kind of killing time. And the only real consolation that these guys could get is if they could get one on Charlotte, and they finally score. And then we score right back. Like we were like, okay, well, you want to score on us, and we're just gonna score right back.
Yeah.
So I could see how that would be very frustrating. I mean, we're already up 3-0. They put one on us. Chances of them, tying it up are still very slim. But we just, go and score another one. And it was Soderski of all people, which he had just came on. So
yeah,
I'm good with that.
Yeah, and good to see like guys who like you said, Kopetti scored, and he might need that for some confidence. But like Yazbek and Swiderski scoring, that's good to just like keep them going.
Yeah.
Like they've been racking up assists and goals lately, so that was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then my guy Derek Jones getting a goal in.
Oh yes,
that might be he might be the most underappreciated Charlotte FC player.
Yeah, he
gets so much online hate for like no reason, and
I don't understand it.
A lot of the criticism is like all he does is play the ball backwards. Like that is all Bronico did last season in the same spot, and people defended him left and right.
Yeah, and he's getting a bobblehead out of it.
I know, and I've had to tell like that's clearly not all he can do. He's being told to play that way. Like that is very much a product of like this system of like when we win the ball back, find one of the center backs, and we're gonna build out of the back.
Yeah, that's all just part of starting the attack. Is you start from the back.
And the few times where he's like played against that and like played it forward, again, like if you go back and watch the Colorado game, him and Awful like are moving that ball forward, and they like build both those goals up. Obviously, like they don't get the credit on the stat sheet because like they're the ones that like really start that transition from midfield into the final third.
Yeah.
And it just blows my mind that like he's better defensively, is more physical than Bronico, but like all these people that were like super fans are now like hating what is basically an upgrade at the position and being like, we need a DP center defensive mid, blah blah. It's like, do we have a good center defensive mid? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
like,
very good, tall, strong, and he can put him in the back of the net.
Yeah.
It went in.
It went in. Yeah. He did score last season too. Can't forget that.
Exactly.
But yeah, just the inconsistency in the Charlotte fandom just makes me angry.
It's a lot of FIFA players out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I forgot that was a slow moving ball. I'm surprised that the goalie. I don't know what happened. I mean, I saw he got stuck, but it was like he like juked himself out.
Well, I think it took a couple deflections, right? That's what I heard.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think it took a deflection.
He looked like he was going one way, and then he realized he wasn't going to get to it and just kind of got stuck. But I was like, that's the slowest goal I've seen in a while.
Yeah. No, I think it took a deflection off someone. So he probably thought it was going to go one way, and then it bounced the other way, and he was just like, frick.
Goal's a goal.
Yep, take it. Count it.
But in comparison to, I did want to say this. I get Kopetti scored, but Gaines was right behind him. If Kopetti doesn't put it in the back of the net, like Gaines puts it in, it was a very
maybe.
Well, yeah, we've seen him miss.
Yeah, it's not a for sure thing he makes that.
But what I was getting to is it's like that was a very just 90%. It's a tap in. 90% of the work's already been done for you. I wanted to see more from Kopetti. and
Yeah.
I saw more of the same, that I've been seeing in most of the games so far. So overall performance for him, I was not too impressed. I was more impressed with Yazviak, obviously with him scoring again. Good to see the
Dude.
consistency.
He's an Open Cup demon. Do you remember last year he like made his debut during the
Yeah.
Open Cup and looked good? We were like, oh yeah, we got one. Like he's gonna
Yeah,
be
I
good.
know.
And then
Hopefully he
it's
has-
taken a whole, like 8 months to be good in the MLS. But he must lick his lips when he sees the Open Cup. He's like, oh, I'm getting some this first match.
Licking lips and rubbing hands.
I like playing these USL teams.
But what I was getting to was Sadarsky. I was really impressed with him because if you compare him and Capetti, they were basically 1-for-1 swap outs. Capetti played 60-plus minutes and just barely got that one goal in there. And then Sadarsky comes in there and like less than, let's say 15 minutes at the most, and he's already put one in the back of the net. So, I don't know. I think there's something to be said there about it.
Yeah.
I don't
We'll
know
have to
what it
see
is,
against DC.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? So, do you think like it was worth kind of maybe missing out on Yazviak and Tulioma for DC United, especially if they have like hamstring injuries? Like we're probably not gonna see them for a week or so. If it's even if
Is
it's
that the for sure verdict?
no, nothing's come out. I mean, they went to go get MRIs.
I think they'll play.
You think they'll play?
I think they'll play.
The Yazviak, it's funny I'm saying this, but the Yazviak one is the one I'm more concerned about. I think Tulioma's out. You can throw Burn in there. I don't want to see that really, but you can also throw Sobozinski in there. I don't know if Latanzio will do that just because it's two super young center backs. But the Yazviak one, like he has kind of been him and Vargas, but I mean, lately, more Yazviak have been the driving force of the attack.
Right.
A game on the road, against a team that's struggling. So you want to take advantage of that. It has me a little worried.
Yeah.
If he's gonna miss, maybe.
I mean, if we're trying to play it safe and not risk the injury, then I'm okay with keeping Yazviak out for a game and Tulioma and throwing in. I'm even okay with putting Burn in there. I know he hasn't been that great, but it's like somebody's got to do it or risk it with Shabashinsky. In regards to Yazviak, take a chance with Melo. He's been the few moments that he's been in, he's done good.
Yeah.
So I say take a chance with Melo.
Yeah, that could make sense. That could make a lot of sense. Any final thoughts on the game yesterday?
No, I mean, it was like after that fourth goal and it was around the 85th minute, I pretty much cut it off. It was like, wrap it up, put a bow on it.
Yeah.
Ship it UPS. It's done.
So this weekend we do travel up to Washington to play DC United.
The pig.
Get to face the pig, Wayne Rooney. How are you thinking this match is gonna go?
2-0 our way.
Our way. Another road victory. Road dogs.
We've been good on the road.
Yeah.
It's weird to say
getting
that.
some ties, getting a win.
Yeah, for MLS standards, we've been good on the road.
Yeah. This does feel like it's a good opportunity to get another win on the road. We just beat a big opponent in Columbus, had a good midweek game.
But we need to come out aggressive though, like real aggressive.
Yeah.
If we're gonna get the win.
Yeah. If they tie, I mean, will you be a bit upset, disappointed, or are you still kind of like, as long as we don't lose on the road, all is good?
They tie, that's still a point. I'm okay with the tie on the road in comparison to how we did last year. If they lose, that's going to be heartbreaking. If they lose, then it's like, okay, just focus on the Open Cup then.
Yeah, I think they definitely
go
ahead.
Like DC should be a win, right? And if we're really playing as good as we think we're playing, We just beat Columbus. They're a good team. We're coming off of another win against Tormenta, so ride that high. You should really you should at least get one to two goals in DC and not let them score at all. DC United has not been performing well. So
yeah, I mean they only
take
have one
advantage of
more
that.
win than us, 4 losses, 2 ties. So I mean, yeah, they are at 11 points. So the one win is really the only difference between us and them. I mean, we have one more tie than them as well, but
I'll take it.
yeah, it does feel like I mean, the performance this past Saturday definitely felt like a team that's better than 11th place. So it does kind of feel like we should be beating these like bottom 8 teams or whatever.
Right.
I mean, DC United's sitting at 8th. But again, like being on the road and it being MLS, like anything can happen. Like, I mean, this league is really a league where anyone can pretty much beat anyone. I mean, just look at how, what is it, St. Louis are doing. Like, I think Portland beat Seattle this past weekend, which was a big upset. Like,
Yeah.
there's these big, or maybe that was 2 weekends ago, but upsets happen pretty often in MLS. So I would be happy with a tie. Like again, if like we said last season, if we can just turn a couple of road losses into at least ties, like we should be able to make playoffs. Like if we can just keep being hard to beat away and find our home form again to where we're picking up a lot of points at home, a lot of 3 points at home instead of ties, like I would be happy with that. So I just don't want to see them lose. Is basically what I'm saying. Be ecstatic with a win, but at least try to get the point.
No, same. It's risky, but I mean, if we can do it against DC United, I think that just kind of proves that we're starting to find, our starters, and it's starting to pay off. I don't know. Just like right now is when it starts to settle down.
Yeah, it is kind of starting to get in that part of the season where
right now
it will be harder to move up and down the tables.
Exactly. Yeah, the gaps are starting to spread. And the players are only going to get more tired, and then there's injuries.
Yeah,
so it doesn't get any easier.
They've got the midsummer tournament and stuff, so yeah.
Yeah,
I think
right now, if you want to put some distance between the making playoffs and not making playoffs, the next 3 or 4 games are going to be real crucial to develop and to making sure you're in that top 9.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is like it really shouldn't be that hard to make playoffs. Like it's the top 9 of your conference out of 15. That's not even like top half. Like it's just like top 60%, 70%, whatever it is. Like you should be able to do that.
Well, I mean, we did just move up 2 slots, right?
Yeah.
So
and that's the other thing too.
It
is pretty jumbled up in the bottom half.
Yeah.
So yeah. See. We shall see. Any other takeaways, final thoughts, anything like that?
Who do you think's going to be the starting goalkeeper?
I think Marks, man. I think it's it should be his position to lose. Yeah. I've seen nothing like if he benches him, I think that's like total disrespect and like lack of trust in a player who's been like performing super well and is developing, and it's kind of like
agreed.
Just shitting on a young guy for no reason. Like
he
has earned that spot, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Kalina starting this past game does not mean that he's going to be starting the next couple games.
I don't think so. Well, yeah, I don't know. I was going to say, like, because last season, that's when we saw, like, Marks and Publicis Niega play, whereas the Open Cup matches, but
right.
That was also under Miguel, and that was when he was playing, like, the whole second string, so...
Yeah.
Clearly, like, it was mostly starters last night, so that could be a sign of maybe Kalina starting, but I hope not. I think Marks has just looked way better than Kalina looked at all last season. Even with the one mistake against Colorado, like, this past weekend was his first clean sheet, but a lot of those goals that have, like, got by, like, you go back to, like, the Salt Lake game, that was like pretty much the defense's fault. Like all those goals. Like he's really only at fault for one goal, and that kind of mistake, the tying goal against Colorado, that kind of mistake can happen to any keeper. Like I've seen Premier League keepers do stuff like that. So that one I don't even think is like that bad. It was just like if that would have been Colorado's first goal instead of the second goal, I don't think people would have been that upset. But it was because it was like the tying goal in the 90th minute that's why everyone freaked out. So
True that.
I don't think he's done anything to show that he shouldn't be the starter, and I think he's done everything right to like have earned that spot, and I think it's like his spot right now. If I'll be disappointed if Latanzio starts Kalina, and I think it could be a mistake and one that we pay a price for.
Yeah, I think that could cost us.
Yeah.
So hopefully he put him in last night just to get him warmed up, keep him loose. He's coming off that injury or surgery, something like that.
Yeah, back surgery.
Right. Yeah. So, but I'm with you. I think Marks has proved himself, and he does not deserve to be taken off the starting lineup just yet.
Yep. Yeah. All right.
But that's about it.
Yep, that covers everything for this episode. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. If you're listening to us on a podcast platform, don't forget to leave a review. You can leave 5 stars, leave a little comment, review, or write a review, and we'll shout it out on the podcast. And then if you just want to interact with us, especially during matches, I try to kind of live tweet some stuff while we're at the games, especially on away games. I tend to be more interactive on the Twitter, but feel free to follow us at offsides_CLTFC at Twitter and Instagram. That is our handle for both. Until next time, we will catch you guys after hopefully another road win. Road dogs.
Road dog. Woo woo. Bye.
Wow, you got to love that.